Another thing at WrestleMania is that a lot of people said that Vince was wrestling, and now a lot of people have like moved back from it. Dave Meltzer's done a whole thing where he said that there was a sheet, and then he saw it, and then it changed, and now the sheet says something else. This is such nonsense. There's no sheet going around. There's no like physical.
Was Vince ever supposed to wrestle? Because you said Vince was supposed to wrestle as the last part of the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Like that. I still think he's going to wrestle. So what I've been told is, so there's stuff in the documentary, and it's there's a lot of pieces about how he's constantly working 24/7, how he's a workaholic lunatic.
Only gets 4 hours of sleep a night. Sleeps 4 hours. Usually, right. How
he goes to the gym after work at 2 a.m. and how he has to eat after he works out at 2 a.m. So all of that is in there. So the climax of this insanity, of this insane workaholic, is for him to show that at this age he could do something still physically in the ring. Now, whether this gets turned into a 2-on-1 match or whatever, I'm not too sure. The idea I would have thought would have been to advertise Vince, but if you don't have any pay-per-view anymore, I guess the surprise in the crowd is more important than selling pay-per-views that you don't have to sell. Is Vince's announcement going to do any extra buys for the network anyway, or is it a case of let's pop the crowd and give him a big surprise instead? So I'm still of the firm belief that documentary is going to have a big ending, especially when WWE controlled the narrative of the documentary, which was one of the reasons I wanted to do it, and they have a legal right to something called right to copy. Right to copy means it doesn't go out until the WWE have seen it. So if they want something out, they want something in, they can do that. That's what the Netflix agreed to.
So obviously everything's subject to change, and it probably will. But as of right now, is he supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania?
I believe, yeah, he's still supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania. I know a lot of guys.
I find that I find that very hard to believe.
See, a lot of guys
I cannot see a 73-year-old guy. I don't care what condition he's in. I don't. There can't possibly look at him in practice and in training and think that like he's doing enough that's going to like make it past. Like,
so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Disco. If you remember, or Billy, if you know, when Vince came on the show with Pat McAfee and he said that Pat McAfee was going to wrestle, did he ever say who he was going to wrestle against or no?
No, but Austin Theory said it was him the next day.
Yeah, that I did see. Yeah, that I did see.
No, but Vince didn't. But as I said, like there was a rumor going around that he was going to wrestle, and it was obvious. And then all of a sudden, once we saw that announcement, everybody then said, "Oh yeah, this changed," and the run sheet changed, and it's like these guys, they're all lying to you. They're all lying to you and making it up. I still believe that what was originally out there is still going to be the case in terms of him doing something in the handicap match, or he faces McAfee after. I don't think it's going to take a lot physically.
You're a gambling man.
A couple of bumps and
you're a gambling man. Set odds on Vince McMahon wrestling. Set odds on Vince McMahon wrestling WrestleMania. What do you put the odds at?
I think both scenarios are minus 110, but I would bet on yes. So I'd edge it to yes, minus 130. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So you think it's
but that's just.
I would bet Vince is an underdog to wrestle. I would not bet him as a favorite to wrestle. I mean, they got to be people talking him out of it. They need an ending to a documentary that they are in control of, right? Okay. So what do you think that's going to be? If this is what they had their heart set on, and this was the ending of the documentary as of a few weeks ago, what ending do you now have instead? It doesn't. I don't know. I say yes because I don't know how you replace what you were going to do. If they've got this big idea, how is this big idea replaced? You just decide we're just going to do a documentary. It doesn't need a massive ending. Like I think if they have their heart set on something, on this crazy idea, I believe they're going to execute it in some way.